Evening, good afternoon, good morning, folks. It's Monday, and this is Let the Mayhem Begin.
Now I want to go through a brick wall, baby. Let the mayhem begin.
Oh, and it begins now. The boys are back. How you boys doing? Got my boy Italy and Matty Smith. How are you guys doing today?
I mean, I've had a very Monday-ish Monday. I think that's probably the way to describe it. But you know, we're talking about football. What could possibly make my day worse? No, I'm joking. I'm really looking forward to this one, boys. It's gonna be good fun. Italy, how you doing, my man?
Man, dude, I've been dealing with the snowstorm since yesterday, so it's been very interesting. And the Chiefs won. That always makes me.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
I had a great sporting weekend. Yeah.
Let's just not do this right now.
and then I got West Ham playing right now, so that's also going to be interesting.
You're up against
so we'll see maybe Italy's mood worsen or get better throughout the show.
Podcast, right?
Could be a total roller coaster with Italy.
The man who starts this podcast and the man that ends this podcast are going to be two very different people potentially. So that's exciting. That's exciting.
So where do we want to start, boys? Do we want to start with the big news that Frank's gone, or the big news, but even bigger, fresher news that Frank's replacement is in the building already?
What a move!
I don't even say, honestly.
I guess we knew Frank was going, right? It was not a surprise. I mean, he was on the cards. The form at Everton has been shocking.
It was a bit of a weird one though, right? Because I feel like, you know, obviously, yes, the form was honking. Let's not, you know, there's no kind of getting away from that. It was bad, like it was dire, but really weirdly, like the Everton fans all seemed quite behind him, which was really strange. Like considering how everything was going, they seemed relatively still on board. Like, which I guess to us probably seems rather bizarre. But yeah, you know, it's one of those moves. I'm sad, but I'm not surprised it's happened.
I mean, it was interesting that, you know, he went, Frank got the chop and Fall Guy and whatever else. Mashiri came out and said the club's definitely not for sale, la 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 la. But yet then goes and sells one of, if not the only decent player they have in the squad, to one of their Premier League rivals for 45 million. A transfer that sounds great on paper for Newcastle to me. Anthony Gordon going to Newcastle,
right?
Thinks a good deal for them. Homegrown talent, all the boxes in terms of that side of things. Proven Premier League quality. I wonder. I was just thinking. I do wonder whether or not there was a bit of dressing room unrest with Frank, and he just couldn't. You know, he maybe lost the dressing room, and maybe Anthony Gordon was one of those ones who was like, you know, he was a big name towards the end of last season. Frank didn't play him. He wasn't playing that much. Was he kicking up a fuss, and has he been shunted out the door because of that? I don't know. It's all conjecture, but it just seemed timing-wise quite odd.
I mean, when your team is constantly losing in the way they've been losing, I'm not surprised that people want to jump ship. So it's one of those things for him, for Gordon, is he's going to a better team. And I think that's that. I mean, you're getting at the end of the season where, you know, people, especially January transfer window, is always so weird. Like people are either going to spend big money or they're not going to spend big money at all. Hint, Liverpool and Chelsea. I have to.
Liverpool and Chelsea have just spent 105 million.
Yeah, we've been pretty
good at least a billion.
But the thing about Everton is, like, I'm just not surprised that people want to jump ship, including when they fired Lampard, especially the guy they brought in, is like, hey, all right, this is even worse.
He's got history. He's experienced in relegation battles, never tending to get the result possibly that the club is hoping for. I mean, he's experienced in taking teams down. It's much like Sam Allardyce was always experienced in relegation battles, but often that meant relegation. I don't know. Sean Dyche, he's got I don't know if he's got a old school mentality, thought process. I don't know. Maybe it's just his gruff demeanor, but he always strikes me as a bit one of those old school sort of shake and scream and shout and whatever else. Maybe Frank didn't have that. Maybe that's what they need. Don't know. But he's got 5 months to try and turn it around. They've had to pull the plug. They've had to get somebody in. They haven't dawdled in getting somebody in, I suppose.
Yeah, but are you surprised though? I mean, there's not much options right now.
No.
Yeah, I think considering where they are, I think it's a good appointment, to be fair. Potentially unpopular opinion, because I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm glad that Sean Dyche is back in the Premier League. I've genuinely missed some good old fashioned 4-4-2 Brexit football, and I'm pretty excited to have him back. Like,
and his press conferences are always.
Oh, they're stellar.
Quality watching. They're always quality
stellar.
watching. He never misses his words. So.
This was again, this is going massively off piece, but hear me out. Remember when the Super League was going to happen and everyone was like, oh my God, can't be doing with that. Obviously, I was on that side. I'm not one of the people that were like, oh yeah, the Super League. Like, shut up. But the thing is, right, is my always point was like, yeah, sure, if Chelsea are playing like Juventus every week, sure, that'd be wicked, I guess, for like a but like at the same time, you'd miss those proper filthy games where you'd go up to Turf Moor and it would just be like, I'm kind of buzzing that's back in the Premier League. I'm not necessarily saying that Sean Dyche is just going to turn Everton into like a new Burnley. I guess resources are probably going to be different at Everton. I'd imagine he would have probably more backing potentially. Like, I don't know where Everton stand with FFP, to be fair. I know they're kind of teetering on the verge of that, but then apparently they've offered 40 million for Conor Gallagher, so
and they've got a new stadium being built and whatnot, so maybe
I forgot about the stadium. They need to stay up for that.
I was just about to say that too. Good
stuff. They have
stuff.
To stay up, because if they go down, that stadium,
that's going to fall through
beautiful new
quick.
stadium.
Yeah, that's gone.
We've seen stadiums being built for clubs that fall down the leagues and they just sit empty and it's horrible, so
it's not only that. The thing about the Everton, and I keep saying this about Nottingham Forest and Everton are on the same level, is they all have history in the Premier League, and Nottingham Forest has been down in the second division for a very long time. They're one of those legendary clubs that's got a great legacy, and the thing is, and they just built that stadium back then too. They have a stadium that's empty as well. So it's good that these teams are acting. I mean, Nottingham Forest has been very busy in the transfer window as well, and I think they need to stay up. As much as I hate some of these teams, a lot of people have gotten better. A lot of people have gotten better in this transfer window.
Yes. There's been a lot of movement. There's been a lot of shifting and, as you say, a lot of strengthening of squads. It's been interesting. Not so many not so many big names, but a lot of squad depth have moved around, apart from obviously Chelsea have splashed the cash left, right, and centre for
400 million. Are you kidding me?
Look, it's fine because we're giving them all
10-year deals or something.
Absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, no, and then you're just going to loan 25 players again, like you usually do. Guys,
it's not as if like the rules of football dictate the players should only have like 6-year contracts. Yeah, we are playing a very dangerous game of football right now.
Everybody.
Yeah,
we're playing very dangerous right now. Like
because of what Chelsea, I believe UEFA have called an executive special meeting, haven't they, or something? To say, actually, hang on, this whole 8-year contract, putting all the money.
I feel like
10 years
we are borderline transfer ban again. However, if we've bought half the talent in Europe, that doesn't really seem like that much of a problem. So, we're yet again, as a Chelsea fan, I feel like I find myself saying this not almost every season. I feel like I'm saying this. Bit of an interesting time to be a Chelsea fan right now. We're just, if you
Topbo's coming and he's splashed the cash and he's kind of done it.
Right there have not selected a football team to support, would you like to never sleep because your football club will stress you out to no end? Support Chelsea Football Club. Do you want to wake up and be like, I have no idea what my football team is doing? I have no idea who's in charge. I have no idea who plays for the first team. Chelsea football team. We'll sort it out. We have a new 11 every week, mate. Don't even worry about it.
You've got a new 44 every week.
My Christ. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so done with trying to keep up with this team, man. I'm over. Apparently, we're back in for Fernandes.
Fernandes, 105 million, I'm hearing you've been. I mean, that's obviously over 15 years at, 8 million a year or something,
Yeah, with like add-ons based on if he wins like League Two Player of the Year and stuff. So, I mean. I think we might get out of paying something, but Jesus, God,
crazy money.
I don't know, man.
The roller coaster that is a new Chelsea manager, a new Chelsea.
Yeah, but I mean, we've always been. I
heard you're going to get Mourinho back for a third, fourth stage.
Apparently, Mourinho wants to come back,
which is a horrible idea. He needs to stay at Roma. He needs to see that through, man.
I love Jose Mourinho, but he is not. He's not the man that he was when he first and probably secondly took over Chelsea. And as much as I kind of want it for like sentimental reasons, I guess it's like the same as like wanting Eden Hazard to come back, right? Like sentimentally, I'm like, God, I want that. Bring him back.
You want Hazard back?
100%.
Hazard 10 years ago, Hazard.
Yes, this is the problem. Sentimentally, I'm like, bring him back. Give him like lifetime deal. Let him retire at the club, whatever. But then I feel like in my head, logically, I'm like, that's a really stupid move. Don't do it. And I feel there's two sides to it. It's like the Mourinho thing. It's like, oh my God, yes, bring him back. La remontada, we'll get it in. And then in my head, I'm like, Jesus Christ, no, don't do that. Come on now.
I remember what happened last time and the time before.
Bro, listen, Chelsea, I think we can all agree that these teams in the Premier League, not only do they're kind of like teams in Spain. I don't really see this in Italy and Germany too much, but there's a lot of teams in Spain, and even they overpay for a lot of people in Saudi Arabia now, even MLS, and you can even arguably talk about Mexico too. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where if you're going to pay for all these players, you should get, and I know these are your teams, but you should kind of get what PSG is doing and Juventus is doing and get some bands in there. Because now, no offense, it's kind of getting ridiculous now.
Well, I don't know. Juventus' financial.
That's dumb. I know that.
I mean,
even Barcelona and Real Madrid, though, that's ridiculous too.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, though. I feel like especially in the Bundesliga, you just see some of the business that those clubs pull off, and it does prove that you can still be sensible in the era that we live in and actually get some good moves done. I think it's just I don't know. I guess this is a much wider debate, but I do think the money in the Premier League is the worst thing to happen to football, right? When you have something. It's just a case of when you have someone who, what is it, Lopetegui at Wolves? Not that I don't like Wolves, but this guy managed Real Madrid and has won so many Europa Leagues, and he's managing Wolves. I don't want to be that guy, but it's it's crazy. How on earth did Ancelotti end up at Everton? What the fuck? He would, he wouldn't end up at a Villarreal, right? He wouldn't end up like a mid-table team in Spain. I wonder why he's gone to a mid-table team in Europe.
It's crazy, isn't it? The Premier League, the pockets that they have, it's just insane. I saw something during the week or something. It was the transfers in the last January window. I think it's 1.49 billion pounds from the Premier League, and the nearest one in Europe is 500 million or something. Yeah, just so ludicrously overspending. And it's as soon as a Premier League club comes calling, the price of the player goes up by 20 million automatically, and it's just it's just. And
insane. Then they all leave. And they all leave, like West Ham's doing right now. There's so many players that are leaving in the January window, and we only got Ings to show for it. And we got this center back Brazilian, but and then Areola, who we just signed, and now Evan Scamacca is on his way to maybe Milan. So I'm over here what the hell?
Yeah, what?
Dude, it's only a rumor. You know how rumors are. It's a rumor.
Okay.
But some of it can be true, some of it not be. You never know West Ham. I don't put anything past them. So
But you're right though. It does seem to be a turnaround where
it's
big name players come in and then it's moist.
But here's the thing about Moyes though. Like there's been some people that are backing him up though, and I'm really quite shocked about that. Sheringham.
Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah, he was on this show I was watching. In the morning times. The show is called Let's Talk Something, and he said, and I'm quoting him right now, that he thinks that West Ham fans should give Moyes more time because he has been successful here. But the thing about it is, here's the thing. Talk about what you've done for me lately, though. This is ridiculous.
It's what you define as success.
You spent over $100 million on players, okay, and you shouldn't be getting this result right now. I wanted to keep Pellegrini. I wanted Pellegrini still.
I suppose you look at it then, you go, you spent 100 million, but then you look at it, you go, 100 million could literally only be 2 players. 100 million.
But we didn't.
Depressing thought. I know you got like 4 or 5 of them, but
no, dude, we got a total of like 7 players. It was really good. The GM was just really good at what he was doing. Honestly,
could you argue then with that amount of players coming in? Like they need time to settle into the team. Yeah, like
exactly.
It's so weird. Like I always find this so hard. I guess when it comes to a football club, you've got to separate the sporting side from, unfortunately, like the business side. That is why, Chelsea have always been so reactionary for chopping and changing, because when the amount of money is involved in that club as is, if immediate success is not what is happening, that's not good enough. It needs to change. And, like it's kind of the same with like any Premier League club. Like obviously, the amount of money like going in and out of West Ham isn't the same as like Chelsea. But when you look at what the alternative is, like if nothing changes and they go down, all of a sudden that's a massive deal for like an established club like West Ham.
And it is crazy, and you do think the emotional aspect of it, and the fan base, and why everybody go and get new players, and then just expect them all to just suddenly know how to play together, and just be able to put near enough a whole new 11 together and go, right, go out and play this expansive, wonderful game of football, even though you don't know each other's names and you all speak 11 different languages and you've never played on the same pitch before. So yeah, you've got to give a guy time, but then has Moyes got the kudos for an international dressing room, and is he able to get his point across to people who don't maybe speak? He's super old school. I don't think his Italian, Spanish, and French is that great. And it
we've all seen that famous interview of when Davy Moyes had the job in Spain, didn't we?
Please don't.
I think there's Steve McLaren in Holland as well. Do you remember that?
Listen, I know I'm giving you shit about Chelsea, but don't bring that up.
Okay, all right, moving on. That interview never happened. Please let that be struck from the record.
Anyways, let's talk about Gary now in Liverpool. I want to know what you're thinking.
What's going on, mate?
What's going on, man? Let's bring up the FA Cup now, because I have hard feelings for you on this.
Okay. Fair play to Brighton. They played
both your teams. Let's bring this up. Both your teams sucked in one day. I'm surprised you didn't drink, but kudos for you for not drinking.
I know.
Kudos for you for not drinking.
It was not a good day Sunday. It was not a good Sunday.
Mate.
They didn't really turn up in the FA Cup. The team they put out seemed a bit higgledy-piggledy mishmash in the middle. They were going for maybe a little bit of youth and a little bit of legs and whatever else, but it didn't have any sort of control. Salah should have, to be honest, the ball when Salah was through on goal and completely scuffed it, another indication of the poor form that Salah is in, which has kind of gone under the radar and nobody's talking about because of Nunez and everybody else. But he's unable to find the net at the moment. It's really hurting the team. And then, fair play, Brighton actually, I thought, definitely deserved to win. I think they were the better team on the day. I think they wanted it more. Every time they kind of broke forward, it looked like they were going to score. And that is it Minato?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, to be fair.
What a find he is.
Can we just, obviously none of us are Brighton fans.
Like watching them play.
Can we give a hand to Brighton FC, right? Because
dude,
what the hell?
Two of their biggest players won out. And then you bring in another
Trossard
good player, which is great. They bring in another good player just now, like 2 days ago. But what they have got, though,
not even Brighton. Can we just give it up to their scouting department? Because
where are they finding these guys?
I got so much shit for that on my last show.
Whoever is working in Brighton and Hove Albion's scouting department, they deserve a fucking raise because they are doing some Jesus work right now. I do not like sell Trossard. Don't even care. We found this kid for like 2 million from somewhere. He's even better. What the hell? Like, you know, in windows where like Gakpo's gone, we spent a stupid amount of money on Mudryk and like other big moves. And like this geezer's playing for Brighton for like 2 million is better than all of them.
Like, apparently he's like a complete gem. Never been
like what is going on? Like, yeah, so Brighton and Hove Albion football scouts.
Fair play to you. Fair play. Are Brighton and Hove Albion the new Southampton is the worry though? Are they gonna be like they unearth all the gems and then the big clubs come in and give them loads of money for them?
Yeah, I think Southampton is the next Everton, in my personal opinion.
Potentially.
Because if War Promies doesn't leave, I don't know what's wrong with him. Is this a Jamie Vardy thing? Potentially, it's going down that path.
It's going that way, isn't it? But yeah, I think if Southampton can't get, I mean, the thing is he's got till tomorrow, right? And then he's stuck at Southampton, and he's in relegation, and he's done. He can't get out, so I don't know if anybody's put a bid in for him to keep him.
Right.
And take him out, and you know how much would it cost? Because at the moment Southampton need him desperately to stay in the Premier League, so it's going to have to take a fairly sizable offer to prize him away. And if it doesn't happen, is EA going to be annoyed because he is actually pushing for a transfer, or not? And if it's all on him for the rest of the season, and they don't go and get anybody else, because I don't think they've bought anybody in the transfer window, then what? No. Then what? So then it literally is all on him. And if he gets injured or, you know, stops or, you know, whatever else happens and they end up going down, he can't go to the Championship.
But when you look at...
Sorry, too good for that.
But when you look at Southampton's lineup, like I'm not looking at Southampton to be like, they're not a bad team. They got good players. They just can't play with each other. That's all. Yeah. Like they got some gems.
Something's gone nuts. So once Hassan Hootle lost the dressing room, now he's gone. They've got somebody else in, haven't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they've got somebody, and he's only been in there probably only 3 games. He's been in there for like 10 weeks, but he's literally only had 2 or 3 games. So it's one of those weird scenarios where, you know, he's been in the building and he's been in the role for 2-3 months. The World Cup and everything else. What do we think
of Ralph Hasenhüttl? Because I even towards the end of his time at Southampton, got kind of.
Do you guys know Nathan Jones? Do you guys know Nathan
he's like
Jones?
some Championship manager, wasn't he? He's not like a big name or anything.
Matty, do you know Nathan Jones?
I've heard the name, but I probably couldn't tell you anything he's done prior.
He was with Luton Town and Stoke City.
To be fair, Luton were a pretty plucky team, so like I guess fair appointment if they're maybe future planning for if they go down, to maybe have someone.
He had 2 stints with Luton Town, and he was with Stoke City, and he was a caretaker. A caretaker for Brighton.
Manager for Brighton. I mean, and also just you got to love this the draw for the FA Cup.
Oh boy,
facts.
Southampton are at home to either Luton Town or Grimsby. So can you imagine that Southampton and Luton?
Yeah, but that's awful.
I mean, that would be payback for Luton. You know, Southampton came in and stole our manager, and here you go. I mean, I don't know. He certainly doesn't have Premier League experience, and maybe that's showing, and maybe he's not getting respect from the players because he's, you know, they don't feel like he's been around the block enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those moves that it's either going to be he doesn't have the Premier League experience, therefore he's just not afraid. So it's going to really work. They're going to, you know, things are going to turn around. Everything's going to be fine because they have a, like, in theory, like naive manager who's just going to come in, be like, right, we're doing this, we're going for it, blah, 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 blah.
Who cares? Don't know any better.
It's going to be like, oh God, we have a manager who's not experienced at, you know, maybe not just fighting a dogfight, but like a Premier League dogfight where every single game, even if it is against like the worst Norwich team that's lost like 15 in a row, that's still going to be a tough game.
Yeah,
like
there's no
that
easy game.
kind
There's
of
no,
like yeah, that almost naivety could also be the thing that ultimately sends them down. In that, because that's kind of why, like, I get that maybe Everton fans don't necessarily like the Sean Dyche appointment, but if there's one thing that man did, it was somehow scrape through with a squad that probably had no right being like, you know, when you look at some of the Burnley teams that he was putting out for games.
He got Burnley into Europe. I mean,
exactly. And you look at some of the teams that he was putting out, and it's like, oh my God, how on earth did he do it? So, you know, it's not an inspiring appointment, but it's probably the kind of person they need right now. Whereas I guess when you look at that Southampton appointment, like I said, maybe if they are future proofing for like, oh God, this is kind of bad, we could go down in this scenario, and this would give us a good shot at coming straight back up.
I think there might have been a bit of long-term planning in the.
I think that's got to have been in their thinking with that appointment, surely. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when you're rock bottom of the Premier League, I guess that's got to be in there, like even a little bit, even if you're kind of like a we're too big to go down type jobby. Like, surely that's got to be like
somewhere in the back of your mind, isn't it? Just like, have you got experience of the Championship? Have you got experience of, because it's a completely different.
Yeah, going down from the Premier League and assuming you're going to come straight back up is not.
You can't do that
not
anymore.
The move. No,
you can't do that anymore. It used to be easy, but you can't do that anymore.
It used to be guarantee. You'd bounce back.
Look at Swansea City. Look at Swansea City and Stoke. They're perfect examples. And Sutherland.
Even Norwich this season.
Even Norwich, yeah.
You know, Norwich are the typical, at least nowadays, like the proper like boing boing club. Yeah, but they are not. They're finding it hard this season.
The Championship is a beast of a league right now. It's every
probably
team
the Championship's got to be the hardest division in the world, right? Like obviously they're not going to have as big teams, but literally every single game in the Championship feels like a 50-50. It doesn't feel like there's any game that's like
there's no sort of roll this team over. You're going to just stroll in there, win 3-0, get out. It's like, no, you're going to have to scrap and fight for every point, and and it's just like, and I think some teams who do go down from the Premiership after the pristine pitches and the wonderful sort of changing rooms and everything else, sometimes get a bit of a reality check when it's just like, well, you got to play Tuesday and Friday, and you got up and down the country and all that sort of stuff. So, and I think it is a battle. And looking at it now, I think the Southampton appointment of that, of Jones is definitely a just in case. Are you okay if we do go down and you stick around?
Yeah, if it works, great. If we go down, there's a plan there, like in place.
But you do wonder what's going to happen with some of their bigger names, and James Ward-Prowse has to be the one that's top of a lot of people's shopping list if Southampton are on that position of because he's got to have a relegation clause in his contract, surely. He's an England international. He's been, around the England squad. He's got to be relegation proof on a contract basis.
Yeah, but when you look at those teams in the relegation system, I know it's just one team that goes up, and I know one team goes down. What? Is there something funny? What happened?
No, when you just tinged the bell. No, it's what is it? It 3 go down, isn't it?
Sorry,
it was quite funny. It was all good. And 3 go down, don't they? So 3 go down, 3 come up.
So when it comes to that situation, who, in your guys' minds, who's going to go down, who's going to go up? What's your gut feeling then? Because we're talking about those Championship, and we're talking about Premier League. I know it's January still, but what's your gut?
It's not a normal January. It's not a normal
January.
To
be fair, I think even trying to predict anything in the Championship, even if there's only like one game to go, is a brave maneuver. I think Burnley are going to come up. They have looked class this season, and again, I think credit to Vincent Kompany taking. Again, I love Sean Dyche, but taking what Burnley became under Sean Dyche and turning them into this expressive, free-flowing team in such a short space of time, I think is genuinely commendable. Yeah. Who else? To be fair, the top 2 have a good cushion. Not that necessarily means anything in the Championship, but I think so. Burnley, Sheffield United, and I feel like Watford are always one of those clubs that just kind of end up coming up, aren't they?
Watford always get a play.
They're in and around. Do you know what? Let's go for it. They knocked out my beloved Wickham. Their promotion hopes are faint, but I think Sunderland come back up to the Premier League.
Really?
They're down in ninth right now.
You really think Sutherland are going to come back up?
Absolutely not. But we need at least one bold prediction an episode, don't we? There we go. We'll crack that
There
one.
we go. And what about who goes down? Do we think the bottom three are set?
Who goes down?
Because they're not.
I think these three are definitely going to go down. I think these three are definitely going to go down. I just can't see. I can't see Leeds, West Ham, Wolves, and Leicester and Nottingham. I just can't see them go down. I mean, I know I'm speaking because I'm a West Ham fan, but like, I'll be real. I think West Ham's in just these 5 teams alone are going to fight everything to stay up. I just think Bournemouth, Everton, and Southampton are defeated, in my personal opinion. For now. I think
the morale at Everton. I mean, unless Sean Dyche can, turn it around, I think that Everton is it's a proper broken club at the moment, and he needs like a miracle broom to come in there and do something to turn that around. Southampton can't seem to buy a win left, right, centre.
But here's the thing: if the Wolves, Leeds, Leicester, and Nottingham go down, it's not good for the Premier League. It's not.
Agreed.
These last 5 teams is not good for the Premier League. You want the best of the best. These teams have proven in not only in the January window, but in the summer window that they're buying players and they're shipping players. They want to make their teams better. Everton, so what? They're going after Gallagher, but that's like just one piece. But you're bringing in a coach who has been in the Premier League before, but it just depends. Wolves have gotten like 6 players in January, and we don't even know where that came from. And then Leeds too. It's bad for the Premier League if these last 5
Leeds should be in. Leeds are one of those archetypes. You talk about big clubs,
especially Wolves too.
Leeds are it's the be all and end all. Leeds Bradford is a huge metropolitan area, and all they have is Leeds United, and they're fanatical about it. They are fanatical about that club. So
it's such a historical team as well. I think that's a massive.
It's always been a big club, and they deserve. Well, I don't say they deserve it, but they should be in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think the Premier League is a better place with Leeds United in it. Like, I think they were one of those clubs.
And Nottingham. I think
everyone kind of talks Leeds up because they'd obviously been stuck in the Championship for so long. And I think until they came up, it was kind of like whatever. But then, I think when Leeds came up, it was like and Forest as well. Yeah. But I think when those clubs came up, it was like okay. I think it's a better place.
It feels right, doesn't it? It feels right.
I have 2 thoughts on the relegation dogfight. One is probably fairly smart. The other one is going to be my second, potentially really stupid maneuver of the episode. But we're going for it because I've had a really Monday-ish Monday. So we're going to crack these out.
This is why it's called the Mayhem.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm going to be the host that makes myself look stupid this week. I think Southampton and Bournemouth go down.
Just this week, guy.
Every time I put on Chelsea merch, I make myself look like a twat. So I think Southampton and Bournemouth go down. I think Everton stay up. I also think if they've hired Sean Dyche, I think Conor Gallagher makes no sense because as much as I love Burnley, that was where young talent went to die, like Dwight McNeil. Yeah. So Conor Gallagher makes no sense. I think Wolves, West Ham, and Leeds all stay up. I think Leicester are sneaky in trouble.
You know what? I can see that. No, I can see that. I'm actually, you know what? I hate everything.
I do not rate Brendan Rodgers particularly much. They haven't done a lot in I was going to say in Leicester. Obviously, that's where the football club is. They haven't done a whole lot in January that's finding me mad inspired. I think if they go back to their beginning of the season form, which I think could happen, I think Leicester could sneaky be in trouble.
I think you're right. I mean, because as you say, if Leeds, West Ham, Wolves, they pick up a couple of wins in a row, they get on a bit of form, they could easily drag themselves out of there.
I feel
Leicester's just struggling.
I just don't trust Leicester anymore. I feel like Leeds, I look at them.
The fairy tale's over, right? The fairy tale's over to win.
I feel like I look at Leeds and I feel like they have ways to win and they're making big signings like Weston McKennie, which is nuts. I feel like I look at West Ham and it's like, I know they're pretty honking at the moment, but they have ways to win. I look at Wolves, they've got a ridiculous coach. They're making signings. They've got ways to win. I look at Everton, and I think if Sean Dyche and his gravel-filled throat can be the kick up the arse they need, they will be a good team. Because even if Leicester are 1-0 down and it's they're bringing on Jamie Vardy. And maybe 6 or 7 years ago, that was scary. But now it's okay, well, it's just a 36-year-old geezer that's drunk a Red Bull. Who cares anymore, right? Not who cares. That sounds mean, but it's not as threatening.
He's not got that He's not got that fear factor that Jamie
No,
Vardy
not
used
at
to
all.
have of being able to rip the top off
Oh,
the
I
defense.
know. He was so good when he came. Oh,
So
my
quick.
God.
I mean, he was so quick. He's still
Ruthless.
quick, but he's not. He's not. He's like. It
His
reminds me of
finishing
Michael
was
Owen.
dope,
When Michael
though.
Owen, yeah,
Yeah.
reminds me of Michael Owen used to be
Or Joe Cole.
electrifyingly quick. Joe Cole was never quick.
No. Joe Cole had that presence, though.
Yeah,
Vardy had that presence.
Had that, yeah. But yeah, Owen had that presence. He came, but he started.
Yeah,
He could give you 6 yards, and he would still run past you. But Vardy was the same, you know.
Yeah,
If
like
they
the
got a
way I
counter
picture
attack,
Jamie
bang.
Vardy is like that Gareth Bale goal where he just runs off the pitch and then back on. Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing I used to imagine him doing. And it's like now when he comes off the bench, it's like, like that's like nostalgia part of me wants this to go well, but it's like he's just not. He's not what he used to be.
It's much like you say. It's the nostalgia. You want Hazard back at Chelsea. You want. Vardy
it's exactly the same thing. Yeah, I want Vardy to still be banging goals, but it's just not who he is anymore.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna make a bold prediction, Matty.
Oh Jesus, we're going for it today. Oh boy,
what have you started?
Listen, West Ham had potential, and I'm saying this about my team. West Ham had potential to win the FA Cup, and they had potential to win the Conference League and still get relegated. This hasn't happened since the early 19s.
We're going for it. Why not?
Dude, I mean, when you look at the competition right now and the way West Ham is good in these competitions but not good in their league, I mean,
knockout football. That David Moyes does know knockout football. Yeah,
I mean, they're top of the league and conference right now in their own little division, and then you got the FA Cup. They won their last game, and they got potential to win today. They should win today. There's no doubt about it.
They should. They're away at Derby. They're 1-0 up already, so you know they should.
But how crazy is that, though? You guys could agree with me. That could actually maybe happen.
It would literally be like when Wigan Wigan did it over Man City.
Wigan
they won the FA Cup.
Wigan?
And then they literally played like 3 days later, lost against someone and got relegated. It's like, oh mate,
right?
Yeah, still buzzing off the FA Cup, and then end up losing to somebody else and go and get relegated. So
that's a tough one.
I don't know though.
But literally, West Ham game. Yeah, sorry.
The next game for West Ham though, that's the toughie. I mean, if you're going to win the cup, you're going to have to go to some tough places, and if you do get past Derby, you got to go to Old Trafford.
I agree.
So tell me, right? Because I'm genuinely interested. Let's say you have the choice between winning the FA Cup and going down, or just staying in the Premier League, no silverware.
Oh, wait. Start over.
So you win the FA Cup or the Conference League, whatever. If you want to have that, fine.
Just which one, or do I have to pick one?
You win one of those.
Just say you end this season with silverware, but start next season in the Championship, or no silverware but Premier League football next season. Which would you choose? Not that you can sit here, say whatever, and West Ham will do it, right? But if those are your two options, if you can guarantee Premier League football but no silverware, or you win a trophy, so you get that woo, but you get relegated, what are you saying?
Nothing is worth it unless you stay in your league.
Okay.
Because if you stay in your league, say we win the FA Cup and the Conference League or win both of them, players aren't going to want to come here to play in the Europa League. And people aren't going to come here to play just because you won the FA Cup. Leicester
that would make scheduling bloody weird, wouldn't it? If they got to schedule in Championship games with Europa League.
I mean, that's the next step up is Europa. So it's one of those things where even if you win the FA Cup, Arsenal sucked the next year, and Leicester did the same thing. They won, and then they sucked the following year because everybody left. Everybody left. Everybody left. Arsenal's people left. Everybody left. So I rather if you win both silverware and stay up, or you don't win either one or win one of them, stay in Premier League. The focus has to be staying in the Premier League. If you don't stay in the Premier League, no one's going to want to come. Then over that 150 million is going to be not worth it now. And plus, it's all going to depend between now and tomorrow because now everyone is rumored to leave. A lot of players are rumored to leave West Ham right now. It's like who's going to stay and who's going to go. We'll know by tomorrow if I can tell you if we can win the Conference League in the FA Cup. Yeah. Because there's potential there. There's potential there because we're good in those competitions. We're not good in our league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, you look at it, it's the same similar sort of thing, you know, would Liverpool rather win the Champions League or get top four?
Oh, yeah, I know. Right. And then it's Newcastle all over again. First time in forever, they might win the Carabao Cup. Crazy.
I'd say Newcastle would rather win the cup.
Oh, I agree.
They
than
are
being in
desperate for
Europe.
any silverware.
Yeah.
I mean, they
That'd just be a bonus.
With the
That'd just
teams
be a
left in
bonus.
it, I want Newcastle to do it, to be fair. If anything, just
I
to
want
keep
them to win.
silverware out of United's hands. That's all I really care about. But
Hey, it's good for the league that Brighton and Fulham and these teams are doing good. It's very good for the league. It spreads everything out. For me, I know a lot of people are like,
I get that. I also feel like
competition.
I am glad that hard work is being rewarded. Like, I think what Marco Silva is doing at Fulham is really cool. I think how Everton are, not Everton. I think how Everton are failing is wicked. But like
I love it.
I think how Brighton are still operating at this level when it seems like every single star piece of their team gets taken and then they just find someone better. I think that deserves to be rewarded. Like, again, I never thought I would say this, but with how Chelsea are acting right now, I'm so glad we're getting this humbling because my God, we deserve it. Like that, you'd always, as a Chelsea fan, have that random season where we finished 10th. And I feel like when I was a kid, I was always like, oh, that's really annoying. I hate it when we don't win. But I feel like now I've grown up and it's like, nah, go, we need this. We need this like reset season.
You said it in the last show, didn't you? You've had seasons where you've got away with being.
We've been so mediocre for so long, and we've ended with like a bit of silverware, and like we've scraped fourth place, and it's been deemed as like acceptable. And like I feel like we need this humbling because we've just been getting away with being poor for so long.
Because I think for both Chelsea and Liverpool, you look at the league now and you think top four is probably almost gone now.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think
10 points between us and fourth.
At this point, I think it's just a case of trying to not look as silly as possible. Which, admittedly, when we've spent the money that we have, anything bar winning the league at this point does make us look silly. So,
you've got to win the second half of the league, right? You've got to have that sort of you win January.
We're going to do that thing.
June
over the course of a calendar year, we've actually won the league.
Honest, we've got more points than everybody else. Just ignore the 5 months in between. Yeah.
Well, it's also good for a league that people are winning, like the younger clubs to win, because if you want to claim that you're the best league in the world, everyone wants that competition, especially when you have you have 3 cups in there, and then potentially you have Europe as well, potentially. So I love the Carabao Cup. I love the FA Cup. I love what it's been given England. I love the main trophy, and also Europe. It just brings a much wider audience, I feel like.
Absolutely. And the best league in Europe, the best league in the world, whatever else, can't be like some of the other big leagues in Europe where you just
like Bundesliga, for God's sake.
Bundesliga, you just know it's Bayern Munich and maybe Bayer Leverkusen,
Dortmund, and Frankfurt. Frankfurt's been coming up huge a little bit lately.
But it's those other clubs peak for a season or two and then go down. But it's always
it's like the same with Ligue 1, right? It's PSG 90% of the time. Like maybe 1 year of every 5, there'll be one random
Marseille
club that comes in and
flash or something.
Marseille's been getting a lot better though. They've made some really good moves lately. So I think they're
Lille or Lyon will have a flashing year or two.
And Leo won the league, last season.
A couple seasons ago,
seasons ago.
And then in Spain, you've got Barcelona, Real. Atletico kind of always.
I guess, but they're definitely coming to the end of that. Sevilla
used to always kind of
Real Betis won their
league, didn't they? Yeah.
To be fair, credit to Serie A, or I guess credit to Serie A, or discredit for Juventus for what the hell they're doing. But like Serie A seems to have been blown open. Like both the Milan teams are good again. Like Napoli's up there. Like,
well, Milan lately, no, but
okay, but last season,
last season was great.
There we go. Yeah. Olivier Giroud aging like a fine wine. I'm glad he's still.
And Tomori, thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and we'll just let him.
He's like, shut up.
Don't worry,
he's probably still on Chelsea's books, to be honest.
We'll just buy every other
Tammy
centre back
Abraham
in the
are
world.
doing good too, as well, which is interesting.
Oh, Tammy Abraham, Jesus Christ. Yeah, look, don't worry. We'll just buy every other player in the world except ones that we already had. And then, we'll just be fine.
Your homegrown talent. You don't keep it.
No.
But you just farm them
out
everywhere.
Or loan them. You just loan them to like a championship team.
Loan them. It's like a prerequisite. You haven't actually played for Chelsea unless you've spent at least a season at Vitesse Arnhem. That's just the rule.
Groningen or whatever it was. Yeah,
Matty, I love you, dude.
You haven't spent a season with some fucking random team you never heard of. Are you really a Chelsea player? Right. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Right.
If you got your passport stamped in like deepest, darkest Romania,
literally, yeah. If you haven't played at least somewhere silly, and oh god, I hate it. Every like 2 years, there's like an article on Sport Bible that's like, oh, Chelsea's longest serving player, and he's only made one appearance for the club? Question mark. It's
right.
Jesus Christ. Like, I remember when Lucas Piazon finally left, and it was like, yeah, he's actually been with this club for like 15 years. Well,
15 years, right.
Jesus Christ.
Has he been anywhere near the squad?
Oh, boy. Yeah, made like one appearance in the Carling Cup 12 years ago, and then we just never saw him again.
Well, it used to be called, whatever, the Rumbelows Cup or whatever it used to be called,
Anyway.
But let's talk about some FA Cup and Caribou Cup now, because I'm getting stressed over here.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
How's it looking? So Liverpool,
we're only up 1-0, but that could change.
1-0 is not a happy scoreline. I mean,
1-0's
from
a dangerous
Liverpool
lead.
Perspective, it's great. We've got that. We've got rid of the extra fixtures. We're out of the cup. Right. Concentrating on the Champions League because we're out.
Got rid of the cup. We're coming back for the league, boys. I'm telling you.
I'm so sorry, man. Really,
the league is ours. So the league is not ours. We just need an oval. I did like it was quite interesting. I saw a quote from Jurgen Klopp today. It was like, maybe I'm not as good a manager as some people thought, and maybe I'm not as bad as some people are saying.
What is Pep doing? What is Pep and Club doing? Are they just stupid? What are they doing?
I think they're just having a year off. I think
are they depressed? I think someone needs to check on them. Someone needs to check on them.
Someone needs to go around when Liverpool do. I feel like whenever Liverpool are on it, City are like, yeah, we'll score 112 points, and then as soon as Liverpool like can't be asked for it, City are like, fair enough, we'll have the league this year, I guess.
Yeah, right. Someone else can have it because it's like we're having a year off.
I have actually seen a very interesting argument circling around, to be fair, which look, I'm not going to say necessarily which side of this I'm on, but it's interesting, and I'd like to float it to the group. Do we think, now hear me out, because again, this is pretty outlandish. Do we think if Gabby Jesus was still at City instead of Erling Haaland, they would be a better team? Now, hear me out, because Haaland scores a hell of a lot of goals, okay?
Yeah.
However, other than scoring goals,
okay,
what does he contribute? Now, I'm not saying that Gabby Jesus would have scored like 30 goals, but they probably would have been more spread around the team. The team may have been playing with more fluidity because it's someone that knows the system. And I think a lot of the games that City sloppily drew or lost, they would have won if they have Gabby Jesus up top.
They would have found a way to win because it would have been a team rather than 10 guys.
Because that's a massive adjustment going from Gabby Jesus to Haaland. And like I said, he's scoring, but it's a case of like...
He's kind of scoring in fits and spurts, isn't he? He kind of scores a hat-trick and then doesn't score for 2 games.
A hat-trick in a game that you were already comfortably winning. Not that it doesn't matter, but is it just stat padding? Like if Gabby Jesus scores 3 goals in 3 separate games to win you 3 games rather than...
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's an interesting conversation to have.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the same thing with Liverpool and Man City, and I think you can combine them in both of this. It's chemistry.
They're
chemistry
both in right now, right?
They're both in the chemistry's not there. The old players, they had time to have the chemistry, and that's why they were all so successful. But when you bring in Haaland has adapted quickly, but Gary is right though. You don't see him for 2 games when he scores a hat trick or 4 or 5 goals, which is insane. Mm-hmm. But Haaland is better talent than Jesus, but Jesus though is a better scheme.
More of a system
with everybody.
Player, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. System plays a better system player than what people think. Because when Haaland was at Dortmund, and he flew in immediately. Everything was well. Everything was great. His system was made for him. I think that's what it is the system is not there yet for either team because they're both going through transition. But Jesus came in immediately with Arsenal, and it was great. The system was made for him. And that's what
the same system, right? It's because
of Arteta, because he was with Man City and he was with Arsenal in the beginning. That's what I like about Arsenal's coach right now is what he didn't do years before, but now he's finally doing it.
What about the rest of my complaint?
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think so. I think you're right. The transition to chemistry, that's definitely what's lacking in Liverpool. I mean, you got Nunes, I think, who's probably a better player than Firmino, but he isn't. The scheme isn't quite set for him, you know. Now we got Gakpo, and we're trying to work out where to play him, and he's not a centre forward, but he's been playing up there. But you could see that it wasn't quite right for him either. I think Jota's going to be, when he's fit, and if he can get him fit and healthy, he's going to be the better fit. He's going to be better in that Firmino 9 role, if you like, but it's not really a 9. It's very much a Jesus role. And I think that transition, that chemistry is just, it's been broken because a turnaround, players are injured, whatever else. And it's showing now where it's just disjointed. And I think our midfield had been covered by our front three, by the chemistry and the fluidity that we had. And now what's showing up is that our midfield is actually weak. Because the front, normally our midfield would like win the ball back, smack it forward. The front three do all their stuff and everything's fine. It's like rock and roll football or whatever else. But now the midfield aren't able to do that because they don't trust the front three. So they can't just ping it around the corner and go for it. They've got to kind of try and build, and then we're struggling on that front. And I don't know what we need, but we need something in the middle. I think Gakpo was a nice signing. I don't think it was an ideal signing. I don't think it was what we desperately needed. We probably felt like if we could get him for what we got him for, let's get him in the building.
That felt like a Chelsea signing. That was not what we needed.
Like
we'll just sign another forward.
Yeah. Felt like a snatch, that one. But yeah, we definitely need to get somebody in the midfield. I mean, I know the talk is all over the place about what midfielders we need and we should be getting and whatever else. But with the looming threat of being sold hanging over the club, I don't know if they're ever going to make a big splashy Bellingham-esque type signing.
No, it is kind of crazy. It just feels like how all it takes is, I guess it's like almost like the like butterfly effect, isn't it? But like, I'm not saying all of this is down to Sadio Mane leaving, because it was kind of inevitable, right? That like, one of that staple front three was going to go, right? It wasn't sure whether it was like Firmino or Mane. It sounded like obviously they were kind of going to go all out to keep Salah at the club. But it's kind of crazy how that one thing leaving and then the chemistry with the front three failing, and because they're not playing such a high tempo, fluid football, that's kind of exposed your midfield a little bit. And now it's like, oh my God, like how has like that one thing happening made such a massive ripple?
It's like here's a nice placid pond, and when Mane's leaving, he's just throwing a big rock in the middle.
He's going to drop this tiny little pebble in here. Oh God, actually, it's an avalanche kind of thing. It's it's mental.
It is bizarre, and it's horrible, and it's why the coaches get paid the money they do to turn it around or whatever else. But the clamour for just buy new players doesn't necessarily always work, as you've seen at West Ham, as you've seen at other places. Loads
Chelsea
and loads of loads. Chelsea football, it's like
buy an entire new 11. We're still ninth.
Still ninth. Oh, great!
Buzzing.
It's not worked. Buy some more.
Yeah, what's the plan? Another forward? Yeah, sure.
Another forward, sure. Let's buy a World Cup winner. Why? Well, he won the World Cup.
Why? Why not?
Right. Hey, Gary, look at your private message real quick. Did you see it?
I can see it now.
Oh boy. What was it about?
Okay.
Yeah, just a heads up. I just want to give you a heads up.
Dun dun dun. FA Cup football then, boys. Obviously, Chelsea are done. So pointless. Liverpool also done. So I guess we're rooting for West Ham.
West Ham for the cup.
Yeah, West Ham are now the Let's Talk Sports football team because we can't support Japan in the FA Cup. That's
pretty much how it rolls.
And to win the FA Cup 2023, I'm telling you, boys. Here it comes.
Let's talk about Wrexham, though. That was the game. That was the game of the week for
what a story! What a story! They almost did.
Ryan Reynolds and his Rob someone I forgot.
My man,
Rob McIllen or something.
Yeah,
some Scottish.
Everyone just knows Scottish. Ryan. Come on, let's be honest.
Sunny in Philadelphia. Come on, man. Mythic Quest. You don't know.
Anyway,
wow, Matty, get yourself cultured.
That's another. I feel like that's another narrative I've seen floating around. Is like a lot of people don't necessarily like the fairy tale vibe around Wrexham, obviously because of, I guess, they do have a bigger budget than most clubs down where they are, but I think it's just ingrained in you when you're British that you have to support the underdog. So I feel like, sure, they might have like a big budget, but when you look at how many teams are between those two teams, who's not rooting for Wrexham in that fight, right? Like who on earth? Like, sure, if you want to hate the behind the scenes stuff going on, whatever, but like, Wrexham, man. Come on. Who's not
on,
rooting for them in that scenario? Yeah, come on.
The Hollywood aspect of it. Yeah. It's got to be.
I like
there,
the whole thing. I like
and that's
the
joy.
Hollywood
And as you say,
aspect.
that's the beauty of the FA Cup. It's got that charm where it could be, 3 leagues below you, kind of turning up on a wet Saturday afternoon on a pitch that's not been mowed and it's like half tilted on its side and it's potholed and whatever else, and you've got a Premier League club turns up and goes, "Oh, I've forgotten how to play on a pitch like this."
Mate, it's wicked.
That's what we all live for. I mean, unless it's your team, unless it's your club, then yeah. But if you're watching it as a neutral and it's not your club that's involved, that's what you want. You want that plucky underdog, non-league team to score a screamer, or you do a Wimbledon, in fact, which is horrible from a Liverpool fan's perspective.
No, but see, the thing is, and again, I've always got like roasted for this. Is like, again, I know I'm obviously here as the Chelsea fan, but as we've mentioned, I live literally like 5 minutes away from Wycombe Wanderers. Right, they're down the road. If Wycombe ever got pulled against Chelsea in a cup competition, I would support. Okay, again, hear me. I'm gonna get roasted for this. I would be on Wycombe's side purely because if Chelsea get knocked out of the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, nobody cares, right? Mm-hmm. If Wycombe win a singular FA Cup game against Chelsea, that's the kind of thing that keeps that club running for like another 2-3 years without having Leicester to worry about money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like in that grand scheme of things, if Chelsea went out of the cup, would I of course I'd be upset. It's a chance of silverware. But like when you look at kind of how broken finances in football are, if that even just getting like a replay against Chelsea would be such a big deal for a tiny team like Wycombe. Like that's huge. Like if that keeps that club going, wicked, because I love the FA Cup. If anything, I love the upset. I'd love to see like Wycombe bang one top bins against Chelsea and fucking stick us out, and have the papers being like Chelsea suck, and like yes we do. But this is why we love the FA Cup. Come on, yeah,
that's what it's all about. And as you're right, and you say that these clubs, these smaller clubs who get to the 3rd and 4th round, the thing they dream of is either an away tie,
big time,
a big club, because often you hear that is their financial aid for the season. That is them done, because usually what happens is the big club kind of goes, you can have the gate receipts for this one.
Yeah,
it's almost like the magic of the FA Cup comes into it from the club perspective as well. And you hear a lot of them just going, it's just an extra game for us, but for you it's massive. And here, have the majority of the gate receipts and whatever else.
It's weird. Right? That's kind of the premise, like behind stuff like the Super League, is like, sure, if Wycombe did draw like Chelsea away or like Tottenham away, for a club like Tottenham or Chelsea or United or Liverpool or whatever to host that fixture, they're probably already losing money. So they kind of just sack it off and help the smaller club out a bit more. So for a fixture that massive clubs take so for granted, that's such a big deal to like tiny football teams. So again, I understand if anyone wants to roast me on this, but if Wycombe got
we're all in for the magic of the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. We like a big upset.
That's what's good about the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, though.
Love it, man. Love it.
Carabao Cup less so because it's more league teams. The FA Cup can throw you up like the real upsets.
The FA Cup is the most random games you've never considered happening.
I still think it's exciting and important, though.
To take it away would take away a soul and to take away a little bit of the heart of what football is.
And it could save your season too. They could save your season too because it's silverware.
Cup run suddenly, you could be in a horrible situation. You could be in a horrible run of form in the league, and you go and win a couple of cup games, and suddenly be like, "Oh, we remember how to win a game now."
But cup runs are magical because I think it's such a, there's so much weight and stuff on league seasons and relegation and success and stuff that, like you said, if you're stuck in that kind of relegation dogfight, a couple of wins in a cup competition that can completely change the move and change the mood, give some momentum to a team. Like cup football is magic, man. Like cup football is wicked.
Facts. And long may it continue. I mean, it's the longest running cup competition in the world, and I don't think anyone ever going to want to get rid of the FA Cup. I know there's been talk, there was times 10 years ago when everyone was complaining about it and teams putting out weak squads and whatever else, sullying the magic of the FA Cup. And I think that's gone away now. I don't think teams do that anymore.
That's just part of it. Manage your team better. Whatever.
You want to risk putting your kids out in the FA Cup? then
It's
you
always
run
one
the
of those
risk
things that's
losing
kind of
to-
frustrated me. Is like I get that Premier League football is, I guess, like of a better quality than like maybe lesser leagues. But at the end of the day, teams in the Championship, League One, League Two, they've got more teams in their league anyway. They're already playing more fixtures than you in the league. They've also got the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and potentially stuff like, pretty sure it's not called the J Paint
Johnson's
Trophy anymore, but like,
Johnson's Paint Trophy or something.
whatever it
it's
is. Like, I'm
called
not
now,
being
yeah.
funny. Sure, you've got like European football. You've also got much bigger wallets, deeper squads than them. Like, shut up, manage your team better. Like, I've never
complain about
got
fixture
that.
congestion.
And,
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that
makes
like
sense.
people like, you know, like I know obviously like Klopp loves a moan about the fixtures. Tuchel definitely did. I'm not saying that we're not all guilty of it, but like, deal with it. Is what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to be competing in all these competitions, you're going to be playing every 2-3 days. That just is what it is. I'm just ranting today. Sorry.
Full on Matty rant today, isn't it?
Nah, man. All right, so let's get these scores up here. Let's get our predictions
sorry.
going
Let's run through these. We've been
for
live for like an
FA
hour.
Cup and Caribou Cup because I can't wait to talk about the Caribou Cup. Man.
My
Have
God.
you even looked at the Caribou Cup ones? I mean, let's have a look. We've still got the
Yeah, second leg. We're at the second leg now. 4 teams.
second leg. All right, hang on. Let's have a look at them. Hang on, let me just bring this up because obviously what we've got there is. Oh, look at that! 2-0 up.
Was it 2-0?
Yeah, let's
2-0
go West
up now.
Ham. Finally.
I've
But
also
hey,
just
I'm
read,
not comfortable. I'm not comfortable.
apparently Chelsea have met Enzo Fernandez's 120 mil release clause.
Because
Yes.
why wouldn't you, right?
I honestly was just gonna. I was gonna text you.
Dude,
later,
what's
Matty.
going on? Oh, mate, relegate us. Put us in League Two. I don't care. What is happening? Just sign him for the next season. Who's spending 120 mil in January? Oh,
On the last day
Well,
of January
Chelsea
as well.
is.
I mean,
Yes,
that
tomorrow.
doesn't sound dramatic
Isn't it-
or desperate at all.
Hey,
absolutely.
I actually got a
not.
question for you guys. When does the transfer? Doesn't it end at like 1 p.m. tomorrow Or
Isn't it
8 p.m.
6 p.m.
tomorrow.
or something?
or 6 p.m.?
Yeah, something
In
like that. And then
Serie
they've got,
A, it ends between 6 and 8.
does it end at
So-
like
I think
8
it's-
p.m., but they've got like 11 to finalize
Exactly, because
documents,
the
work,
Eastern,
and
Western, Central, and the everybody
it
else
finishes at
is
6 p.m., but they've got 3 hours to get.
Yeah,
the
they've got
fax
X amount of
machine.
time to
Yeah, and
complete
it's like-
paperwork that had already started. But I don't know, very, very complicated.
As long as they've filled some form out with it, we are going to do this transfer, and we've told you about it
Right,
before the
right,
deadline. or
right,
something.
right.
It's very bizarre,
Right.
but it's the one day in the year, or there's like 2 days in the year now, obviously, where it's like the fax
Fax.
machine suddenly becomes
Oh
the
my
most
God,
important.
fax
Yeah,
machine.
I
know.
remember
Oh
when-
my
Still
God.
gets through. It's like transfer hasn't gone
Oh.
through because they didn't receive the fax in time. It's
When like
who?
David De Gea
who
was
still
supposed to
uses
go
a
to Real
fax?
Madrid, and it was like, oh yeah, Man United's fax machine was broken. It's like, mate,
Yeah.
who's worrying about 80 million quid? Oh, but our fax machine doesn't work. Like, what?
What is going on?
How is this still a problem in the year 2023? Right. Anyway, yeah, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. That's
talk
Let's do
about
the EPL Cup or the EFL Cup. So we've got
Oh,
Newcastle.
God.
What?
Newcastle
Yeah.
going to Southampton.
Bro,
Newcastle are 1-0 up.
Oh my God! Just
I-
I know the
because-
magics of the Caribou Cup, but if Newcastle, they only won one. Oh my God! Newcastle better blow them out.
Yeah,
They
Newcastle
better
should win
blow them
that.
out.
Newcastle should win that, right? Newcastle
least
and
3
get
or 5 to
themselves to the
nothing.
final. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
get it done. Get into a final. Give
Bro,
your
I can't
fans a
wait for this
party.
game though. Next game though.
Ooh, this one.
Woo! Come on, Forest. Let's go.
Comeback is on. The comeback
Forest
is
are
on.
going to
at
run
Old
it back,
Trafford.
baby.
I don't think so.
No,
I
probably
don't
not.
think so.
Probably not.
probably
Probably not. But
Probably
still.
not.
However,
love it.
I do
Hey.
think a Manchester United Newcastle United
Newcastle
FA Cup
would be
final would
awesome.
be. Oh my God.
Oh, dude, we're all going to be
See.
Newcastle fans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone would be Newcastle fans for that one.
That will be
Absolutely, totally
absolute
nice.
scenes. I think that's going to be a. Well, I'm not saying it's already happened, but let's just say if United got through and somehow Southampton turned it around, I think we can all say we'd be a bit disappointed with
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the prospect
I'd be
of
pissed.
Newcastle and United, who have actually kind of picked up a bit and are looking pretty good. I think watching them go hammer and tongs for a bit of silverware would be huge. Like that's 2 massive fan bases, as plastic as one is, and like
Right.
I think that's going to be outrageous.
That's the final. That's the final that we all.
Nobody
want
is
to
safe
see.
today.
No
I'm really
discredit.
sorry.
No discredit to Southampton, but
Maddie,
we
don't
all
be
want
sorry.
to see We all want to see United
Almighty.
against United in the final, don't we?
Mate, that would be absolutely wicked. That'll be an incredible final.
Dude, that's
all right,
insane.
let's try and find the FA Cup.
It'll feel like retribution from when we were supposed to have, what was it like? Obviously, like when Liverpool won the Champions League, right? Like Liverpool beat Tottenham. I think we can all agree that it wasn't necessarily the most exciting Champions League final in the world.
Right.
And everyone was kind of like, City Ajax would have been such a wicked final. And then like it would have, like this would be some retribution. I want a proper bloody final. This is
it might only be the third cup and whatever else, but that's the final we all want.
Yeah.
So definitely. FA Cup, where are we? FA Cup scores and fixtures. Yeah, it doesn't help me, does it? Because,
right. West Ham currently winning against Derby. We're going to assume they're going to get the job done from here. I'd imagine 60 minutes in, 2-0 up.
Yeah.
They should 3-0. I put 3-0 on my bet. So,
oi.
Scores and fixtures. Let's have a look. So we've got one fixture left, which I think is Birmingham Blackburn. It should be a ding on that one.
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in the next few days. Fourth round replays, right? Yeah. Here we go.
I mean, Fleetwood Town, Sheffield Wednesday. There's your magic of the FA Cup banana skin.
Go on, Fleetwood.
Come on.
All right. So what are we thinking here? Burnley versus I don't even know. I can't even pronounce that.
Ipswich Town.
Ipswich Town.
What the hell's that? Ipswich.
They used to be in the Premier League.
Really?
Suffolk. Yeah, up in Suffolk.
Oh, okay. I see
the Tractor Boys.
Tractor Boys. That's it. Are they one of those random teams that won the Champions League in like the 50s or something?
No, they won. They certainly. I'm sure they've won a league way back when, but they were always there and there. Bobby Robson used to manage Ipswich.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming back. It's coming back.
They've won the English League back in the 60s. Won the FA Cup in 78, to be fair. And they won the UEFA Cup in 1980-81 season. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Ipswich have got pedigree, my boy.
Sunderland Fulham's got to be the tie of this round, though.
Oh, my God.
That's going to be a great game. No, come on.
What is?
I think
Sheffield United
be a bloody good game, to be fair. Fulham are an attacking team. I think Sunderland play some pretty good football. Considering they were in League One last season, I think they play some pretty. Not there's anything wrong with League One.
Okay, so what we thinking for Sunderland and Fulham? What are you thinking then?
I would like to hope Fulham would get the job done, but Sunderland forced it to a replay when they were at Craven Cottage. So I think if you take that back to the Stadium of Shite, I think that's all of a sudden a big problem.
I reckon Sunderland could do that. I reckon
because
Fulham will probably be. I smell an upset there. I smell a Fulham probably not putting the strongest team out.
Really? You think it's an upset?
Potentially.
It's certainly not as big an upset as Wrexham turning over Sheffield United.
If Wrexham do a madness, go into Sheffield
Wrexham have got history in the FA Cup.
How messed up is that, though?
Beautiful. It'd be beautiful. I mean, they're going to love it because Sheffield United, that should be a full house at Sheffield United. So that's massive for Wrexham. Right? So they'll get a pocket load of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed they don't get blown out. And what you hope is like it's close. It's like 1-1 going into the 85th minute or something. Full on drama. Hopefully Wrexham do it. But at some point, realization kicks in, and you kind of think, well, maybe Sheffield United should be strong enough, as you say, they're flying high in the Championship right now. So they probably.
They got a good attacking team. I mean, they just always have.
But again, it's one of those things where Sheffield United are doing well in the Championship. They've already had to play this Wrexham game once. Like, how much attention do they want to push into this? Like, they've got a good cushion for the top two of the Championship. Like, they're pretty comfortable in there, but. This is kind of one of those like annoying games for like Sheffield. Like they're probably going to be feeling like they should have just got the job done in the first leg, and now it's another
do or die.
Now it's like another at least 90 minutes they're having to spend against Wrexham, which isn't needed. Like, especially.
So what are we thinking? Score wise,
1-2 Wrexham.
Yeah, I was going to go Wrexham. I think it's going to be another goal fest. I think 3-2 Wrexham. I think. Sunderland take down Fulham. Let's just go for it. Burnley will probably beat Ipswich. I think Sheffield Wednesday should beat Fleetwood Town. Grimsby 6, Luton 0. Move on.
Okay, Matty's fired.
It's
fired.
gone.
Matty's obviously out there. He's gone.
Absolutely gone. Ed's gone,
Absolutely
boys.
gone. And then we've got a while to wait.
Yeah, we got a while for this one, February 27th.
Yeah, TBC are pretty good, to be fair.
I mean, they've got a pretty good squad. I mean, they're like Chelsea. They've got so many teams out there.
Just so many players. Wait, whoa. TBC, Todd Bowley Club.
There you go. So it all suddenly becomes true. So
Leicester City's got the B team, Manchester United's got the C team, Southampton have got the D team, Leeds have got the E team, and Tottenham have got the first team because we just decided to turn up for that one. Why not?
No, TBC is a Thunderbolt cunts. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. No, Thunderbolt cattle. How about that?
Well, that's better. That's better, but hopefully we've not been taken off the air.
Matty has been bad all day.
I know. So there we go. That's our brief run through.
This is Matty.
I'd make a great YouTube thumbnail, wouldn't I? Like,
right. No.
You won't believe these FA Cup results.
Right.
My
You
God.
won't believe the predictions that Matty threw out.
Yeah, do not. Oh boy.
Oh,
wow.
All right, so
on that bombshell.
Right.
Like a classic episode of Top Gear. We must
Classic
end it
episode of Top Gear.
on some
the next-
rowdy.
All right,
some people say.
So we doing the
Friday
Premier
the
League
3rd.
show next week?
Well, we've already got our predictions in for this round.
Right.
I mean, we can let them.
Probably
We can
next
let them
week.
play out. When's the last game of this round? Wednesday. Oh, we haven't got Wednesday's fixture in. Hang on a minute. How's that work?
Ooh.
How did we miss the 2? How did we miss that one?
I feel like we're notorious for that, though. Yep, your categories.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was-
Wow! How did you miss that game?
Okay.
Right, what we calling United?
Yeah.
I can't believe we missed that one. It
I
snuck
think
in
so.
towards the end.
What is it?
Man United at home to Leeds United.
No. I know.
You'd imagine Ten Hag and the boys would get it done, wouldn't you?
I didn't see it.
2-0 for the Reds. 2-1. If we go. I don't know if they're signing McKennie, aren't they? Could be
Yeah,
a
what do
nice
we think
addition.
of the
They did
McKennie
40 million, yeah.
I think I like that as a deal. To be
Dude, I mean, it's got a great
on board.
U.S. connection. It's got a great U.S. connection. I mean, I think
Leeds.
he's gonna do good, just like Tyler Adams and Arnson are doing.
Aronson.
Yeah, I
fit in
forgot
well.
I think
about
it's gonna fit in
Tyler
well.
Adams in the midfield with
He
Weston
needed
McKennie.
to get out of Juventus. Everybody needs to get out of Juventus right now.
Everybody's it's a fire sale. And actually, it's a fire. It's one thing. Do you think
What
there's going
is
to be a
going
fire
on
sale
at
at Everton?
Juventus?
That's
What
for
is
next
happening?
week's show. We're already an hour and 10 minutes in. We need to.
Yeah,
kind
no,
of wrap
fair.
this up.
That's an absolute meltdown we need to cover. My
It's a
God.
meltdown. It's got to be a European. We maybe there's another show there. There's European
Do
football
a
show.
do a European special.
What are we
No,
doing?
no.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
I don't know,
Somebody
mate.
thinking. I don't know. We're making up a new show where we might be talking about European football specifically.
We're on the current show.
No.
We're talking about a new show. We missed the Old Cup show. Old Cup, World Cup. Oh, mate, I can't do this.
Nations League and Euro Leagues are coming up. So
Oh wait, it's never ending. It's never going to stop.
Help
this
me.
has been the Thunder. Never mind.
Never mind. We are not
You
calling
guys
it
have a
that.
great day. No, I'm kidding.
We are not calling it that. I know it's been a Monday, but that is not the deal. Right. So yeah, we'll do another.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, YouTube.
Right. So Wednesday, the 8th of February, we'll be back.
Sounds
Put it
good.
in your diaries. Put it in your calendars now. We'll be back on Wednesday, the 8th of February, to review the next set of the Premier League. See how we got on. Look ahead. Check out all the last-minute transfer deadlines because there's going to be a few of them coming up tomorrow,
I
no
think
doubt.
tomorrow is going to be spicy.
Crazy.
There's
I'm
going to
gonna
be
blow
some
up your
spicy
chat.
ones.
I'm gonna blow up your
It's
chat.
all going to cover. Until then, folks, this has been Mayhem. I think the name suggests. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.